TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem, and in today's top stories. A high state of security alert continues both in the West Bank districts of Judea and Samaria, as well as across Israel, with a growing number of reported terror attacks. Israel and Lebanon appear to be in the final stages of completing an agreement to define the maritime boundaries between the two countries. The Islamic Republic Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei conveniently blames widespread riots throughout his country on the United States and Israel. A high state of security alert continues both in the West Bank districts of Judea and Samaria in particular, as well as across Israel in general. Israeli defense establishment officials highlighted dozens of intelligence warnings of terror attacks, while a number of terror attacks have been recorded throughout the West Bank. A pregnant woman was lightly wounded yesterday near the Bethlehem area community of Tkoa when the car she was traveling in was pelted with stones. Subsequently, yesterday evening, an IDF soldier was lightly wounded when a terrorist shot him in the leg near the Shomron Brigade Junction. IDF troops responded with fire and launched a manhunt after the terrorist, who managed to flee the scene. Separately, another shooting attack was reported on yesterday morning. Palestinian gunmen opened fire toward a civilian bus and vehicle en route adjacent to the city of Nablus. As a result, the driver of the vehicle sustained light injuries. IDF troops that arrived at the scene have launched a manhunt after the terrorists who fled the scene. It is important to know that yesterday's shooting attacks are merely a glimpse into an increased number of attacks of terror perpetrated by Palestinian Islamists against Israeli civilians and troops. Meanwhile, overnight and this morning, IDF, ISA or Shin Bet, and Border Police Special Operations Forces conducted counter-terrorism activities in a number of locations throughout the West Bank territories, at the culmination of which 16 terror suspects were successfully apprehended. It is worth noting that during the course of the operational activities, 2 assailants reportedly attempted to ram their vehicle into an IDF force that responded with fire, neutralizing the 2 suspects. Thankfully, no injuries were reported among the IDF troops. Meanwhile, during a change of command ceremony of the IDF Operations Division, which is tasked with the IDF's operational planning for its activities in the field, including in times of war, Major General Oded Basiuk, who commands the Operations Directorate, highlighted that the IDF will do everything necessary to hunt down every individual who employs terror against Israeli civilians and troops.
גם בימים האלה אנחנו ניצבים בפני אתגרים רבים במעגלי פעולה שונים. ביהודה ושומרון אנחנו עדים לפיגועי ירי לעבר אזרחים ולעבר כוחות צה"ל הפועלים במרחב. אנחנו פועלים לילות כימים במאמצי הסיכול על מנת למגר את הטרור. אין הרי מקלט באיו"ש, נגיע לכל מקום שידרש ונעשה את כל שידרש ושיהיה נכון לעשותו.
The outgoing IDF Operations Division commander, Brigadier General Yaron Finkelman, for his part, seized the opportunity to highlight the Israeli military's wide-ranging operational activities against terror elements, both near and far, most of which remains unknown to foreigners and Israelis alike. Moreover, to ensure the success of these activities, General Finkelman highlighted the crucial need to perpetually remain at the ready.
להתכונן ברצינות ובשקדנות, להעריך כל העת את המצב נכוחה ובאופן חד, נוקב ומקצועי, להתלבט, להשתנות שנדרש, לפעול בהחלטיות ובאומץ, וגם כשמופתעים, להתעשת ולנצח. וכיום צה"ל פועל מבצעית כל העת, בכל הזירות, בכל הממדים, בכל הטווחים. פעולה אינטנסיבית, בקצב גבוה, בתחרות למידה מתמדת למול אויבינו, ועושה זאת ביצירתיות, בנחישות ובתעוזה. רבים מן המעשים סמויים מן העין, ועולים ולא כהפרזה על כל דמיון. טוב שעם ישראל לא יודע את שנעשה, ואף קצת חבל.
The incoming IDF Operations Division commander, whose role includes operational preparedness for times of war, highlighted the long list of Israel's enemies which the IDF must face, all the while voicing confidence in Israel's ability to withstand any challenge.
האתגרים המונחים לפתחנו רבים ומגוונים. בזירת המלחמה פועלים רבים המבקשים את רעתנו. הן במעגלים הקרובים, הן ברחוקים.
Among the list of threats faced by Israel, one trigger may be taken out of the equation in the near future. Israel and Lebanon appear to be in the final stages of completing an agreement to define the maritime border between the two countries.
במהלך סוף השבוע התקבלה בלבנון ובישראל הצעת המתווך האמריקאי להסכם על הגבול הימי בין שתי המדינות. אנחנו מנהלים דיונים על הפרטים האחרונים, כך שאי אפשר עדיין לברך על המוגמר, אבל כפי שדרשנו מהיום הראשון, ההצעה שומרת על מלוא האינטרסים הביטחוניים-מדיניים של ישראל, וגם על האינטרסים הכלכליים שלנו.
It is important to note that the expected agreement with Lebanon has set off a political firestorm in Israel about the transitional government's authority to sign a deal of this magnitude merely weeks before a general election. Israeli opposition chairman Benjamin Netanyahu blasted at the transitional government for what he called Lapid's humiliating capitulation to Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah's threats and announced that if he is re-elected prime minister, his new government would not consider itself bound by the terms of this agreement. Nevertheless, Prime Minister Yair Lapid and Defense Minister Benny Gantz insisted that the draft agreement presented by U.S. envoy Amos Hochstein checked all the security boxes which Israel presented at the start of the negotiations.
יותר מ10 שנים ישראל ניסתה להגיע לעסקה הזו. ביטחון הצפון יחוזק, אסדת כריש תפעל ותפיק גז, הכסף ייכנס לקופת המדינה והעצמאות האנרגטית שלנו מובטחת. זו עסקה שמחזקת את הביטחון הישראלי ואת הכלכלה הישראלית.
Premier Lapid, who made these remarks at the opening of his weekly cabinet meeting yesterday, further highlighted that an agreement would distance Lebanon from its reliance on the Islamic Republic of Iran, since Jerusalem would not hinder Beirut's aspirations to enjoy its natural resources.
אין לנו התנגדות לפיתוח מאגר גז לבנוני נוסף שממנו נקבל כמובן את התמלוגים המגיעים לנו. מאגר כזה יחליש את התלות הלבנונית באיראן, ירסן את חיזבאללה ויביא ליציבות אזורית.
Despite the upcoming elections in less than a month and the vigorous criticism voiced by the opposition, Prime Minister Lapid emphasized that a deal would be brought forward to a vote, a first step before parliamentary ratification. Meanwhile, in Lebanon, Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah evidently voiced hope that an agreement would soon be reached.
في موضوع الحدود البحرية وحقول النفط والغاز. وبعد هذه الأشهر من الجهد والجهاد والنضال والسياسي والميداني والإعلامي، في كل الأحوال شاهدنا اليوم من خلال الإعلام، طبعا نحن عرفنا ذلك، تسلم الرؤساء الثلاثة وبشكل رسمي النص المكتوب المقترح لمعالجة هذا الملف من الجهة الوسيطة. هذه خطوة مهمة جدا. نحن أمام أيام حاسمة، وسيتضح خلال الأيام المقبلة ما هو الموقف الذي سيتخذه مسؤولو الدولة في هذا الموضوع وإلى أين ستتجه الأمور. نحن من موقعنا نأمل أن تكون خواتيم الأمور جيدة إن شاء الله.
It is important to know that Nasrallah, who made these remarks from an undisclosed bunker in Beirut's Dahya neighborhood, voiced his hope after pledging to attack Israel if it were to extract gas from its offshore Karish rig before an agreement is reached that would benefit Lebanon as well. Turning to Iran, where the Islamic Republic Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei proclaimed that widespread riots throughout his country were funded and designed by the United States and Israel.
بنده به صراحت میگم این برنامه‌ریزی کار آمریکا، کار رژیم غاصب و جعلی صهیونیستی و دنبال روای اونهاست. نشستن برنامه‌ریزی کردن برنامه ریزی کردند. عمله و مزدوران و حقوق بگیران اونها بعضی از ایرانی‌های خائن هم که در بیرون از کشور هستند به اینها کمک کردند.
While spouting in his speech earlier today blatant lies and unfounded conspiracies in a clear bid to convince his radical Islamic followers of the regime's virtue, Ayatollah Khamenei went as far as to claim that nationwide protests were not the result of the murder of Masha Amini, rather, it is a battle over Iran's Islamic character.
دعوا بر سر مسئله با حجاب و بد حجاب نیست. دعوا بر سر از دنیا رفتن یه دختر جوان نیست. دعوا اینا نیست. خیلی از این کسانی که حجاب کاملی هم ندارن جزو هواداران جدی نظام جمهوری اسلامی هستند. شما میبینید در مراسم مذهبی، در مراسم انقلابی اینها شرکت میکنن. بحث سر اینها نیست. بحث سر اصل استقلال و ایستادگی و تقویت و اقتدار ایران اسلامی است.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. TV7 Israel is a donation-based ministry. Therefore, if you're blessed by our productions, please consider making a financial contribution that in turn will enable us to sustain our ongoing operations. Additionally, I would like to encourage you to pray for our persecuted brothers and sisters worldwide and for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hassan wishing you a Shavua Mevorach, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.